All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us this truth. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect scattered around the four corners of the earth, mainly in Babylon the Great, America, which is all to be destroyed in the up-and-coming World War III, nuclear destruction. Hey, the MOTB is the MARK, according to Revelation 13 and 16. All right. So the title of this lesson is going into mischief by law. You know, this devil really got to go, be taken out of power. And as it says in Proverbs 29 and 2, all right, which I'm going to get, that'd be my first precept. Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. All right. And when the wicked are in rulership, you know, the people mourn, man. All right. The people of the planet Earth. All right. The wicked, starting off with Esau, Edom. All right. The rest of the nations, the ones that wasn't given the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible, because at the end of the day, the Lord gave his people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called, but their true nationality is the Hebrew Israelites, going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, we're the righteous, and the Lord gave us the authority, be it through the law, statutes, and commandments, but due to our disobedience, and, you know, everything was through the spirit and power and the will of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, you know, these things ought to happen. So it can be written, you know, with prophecies, a testimony, and it's all part of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's movie at the end of the day. But nonetheless, we know and understand that the wicked is bearing rule, all right, the so-called Caucasian white race. As people love to say in the world, a white man's heaven is a black man's hell. All right, that's why in this society, no matter what these Edomites do, or these crackers, you know, nobody really shuns them. All right, nobody really looks at them with an evil eye. But when it comes down to your own people, and that's ultimately due to the curses, you know, our people always have an evil eye towards each other. All right, but not towards the wicked. It's the same devil that pushes, you know, the rainbow agenda. All right, same devils that's full-time, well, they just straight up Satan worshipers. All right, just like how you had an individual, which Lord will, I'm gonna get that account a little later, because brothers and elders already did a video how a counselor of, I believe, Minnesota or Michigan, you know, he had a memorial or whatever the case, or reverence to him, and they all doing it and praising in the name of Satan. All right, these are the devils that runs the whole entire earth. And meanwhile, he got hospitalized for a large consumption of horse semen, man. Which, like I say, man, these vile, lowly beasts is in power right now. But the Lord has put them in power to show the world, you know, what it means to rule in wickedness by the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. Okay, and that happened to a person of high stature, all right, high status in this society. Okay, but meanwhile, us coming out there week in, week out, just preaching and prophesying, you know, that's a problem. We're the problem. All right. But nonetheless, let me see, Job 30 and verse 1. But now that they are younger than I, have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. And this is going into Esau, Edom, all right, the wicked, because they're so vile and so disgusting. All right. That if you was to put them around dogs, they will have sex with it, man. And Edomite coaches are known for doing foul shit like that. These are the same devils that like their wives to get fucked in front of them. All right, committing orgies, committing bestiality, homosexuality. All these things were promoted and pushed by the wicked, the Edomites. But Jake being Jake, more wicked than the wicked, they follow after. All right, and they so-called try their best to perfect themselves in wickedness, and they're doing a very good job. But at the same time, the Lord is going to destroy the wickedness of the people, of our people. All right. Nonetheless, you following after the ways of Esau, Edom, and you're going to receive that same judgment of death and destruction. But the only good part is because of the promises that Yahweh Shem Yahushua made through our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the 2/3 are going to come back and enjoy the fruits of the kingdom of heaven. All right, not burning in hell, according to certain Israelite camps. The IUIC, Grandmaster Nate, that's pushing amongst his congregation. All right, but nonetheless, these devils are vile, wicked creatures, man. And the Lord created this devil to be the sword in the last days. All right, Psalm 17:13, and also Revelation 12:12, having that great wrath. Because these devils know that they have a short time. That's why they're moving the way that they're maneuvering as of 2025. All right, Donald Trump is further in messing up the economy, messing up ties with, countries that was at peace with them. All right, because this is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, let's go to Job 9:24. Like I said, just straight to the point. If you don't believe, hey, just wait till all hell break loose. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to show you Jake's better he can tell you. All right, which he is telling you by the way of the mouth of the prophets, but you don't want to hearken. All right, you still love your oppressors. That's the main reason why our people look at white people so innocent, no matter how fucked up and nasty they truly are. Like I said, these are the same ones that got, PDF reigns going on. Motherfuckers must be forgot about the Jewish tunnels. All right, because through the Spirit, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is exposing this devil. That's why now we're seeing it on the forefront and on a more rapid scale, the wickedness that's being revealed, because they always been the wicked. All right, but now the Lord is revealing this wicked unto the planet Earth. And if you choose to ignore it, that means the Lord is not dealing with you. All right, but if you consider, pray that you're of the elect, because it all makes sense through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why this truth is built up on faith. All right, it all makes sense on how and why the wicked is the wicked by nature. Okay, like I said, all you got to do is just look up the accounts of the Caucasian race, how they became in power, how they took over nations. Like I say, you got a term called buck breaking, man. If that's not wild, I don't know what else is. But these are the same devils, also child sacrifices. Like I say, the counselor or whatever, councilman from Minnesota, nigga had to been hospitalized because he eating up too much, horse semen, man. Like I say, man, look, this devil has to go. And for you Jakes that say otherwise, though hand join in hand, the wicked should not go unpunished. At the end of the day, the Lord is going to thrust you along with the wicked and count your death worthy among the wicked, man. But you lucky for you Jakes that you Israelites, that you better hope that your lineage go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because if not, All right, if you're of the other heathen nations, I mean, you know, everything in due time, you're gonna be good after the 1,000-year period of captivity, going in your own land. But Esau, Edom is the only race that's gonna be destroyed. All right, no more of the house of Esau, and that's in Obadiah, the first chapter. All right, so let's get into. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go YouTube. Going into the account, like I said, I'm gonna show 2 of the videos that I saw. GMS KC. It says your governor is ran by a bunch of Satanists. All right, he did a video basically a day ago. All right, you can watch that video to get into the more detail. But at the end of the day, you know, and I'm pretty sure, hey, he ran across the article and he probably got inspired, of course, first and foremost through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but also Apostle Ronlod. All right, the elder, you know, one of the elders apostles, GMS Doc Info 12. He did a video live, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago. It says this is a fucked up world, and it is a fucked up world, man. All right, a world that's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. Like I said, these are the same devils that write laws and pass laws to support, you know, the alphabet. All right, you know, Satanism, do as thou wilt. All right, Aleister Crowley. You can look these, you know, individuals up. All right, the other guy by the last name Todd, or John Todd, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Aaron Russo, that knew the inside scoop of these devils, of these elites, man. All right, so this is a fucked up world ruled by the wicked, Esau, Edom. That's why the world is going down to Schitt's Creek, because the wicked are in authority and they're promoting and pushing out wickedness, not righteousness, man. All right, but that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, if you understand and comprehend. All right, the Lord creates, you know, enemies. All right, the wicked, the righteous, and even within the righteous, there are found wickedness or wicked people among his own people. And that's in Jeremiah, the 5th chapter, verse, I believe, 26 on down to 28, going into the false prophets. All right. These two, also can't forget about the 2/3 niggas that's just lost out there in Babylon the Great, so on and so forth. So those are the 2 channels that inspired me to do this quick little lesson. All right. Also, you got to think about it. This the same devil. And it was a video like a couple of days ago going into how there is a flesh-eating STD out here, and hey, that's going into another topic of discussion. All right, I find more bitter than death the woman, because at the end of the day, majority of these women, hey, they're a bunch of sluts, whores. They will fuck any and everybody, and that shit accumulate diseases, man. And them being the weaker vessels, hey, in my personal opinion, all these certain diseases, these bitches are the main carriers, man. Like, honest to truth. All right, because them being the weaker vessel and them being fucking sluts and whores, you know, that leads to diseases. But meanwhile, if we was in a righteous kingdom, all right, we have our own women and they don't be touched by another man, I promise you, no disease can spread like that. Whether people believe it or not, okay? Because at the end of the day, that man going in all of them, if she's really truly dealing with that man, or if they're really truly dealing with that man, hey, no diseases are going to happen. They're going to be in the same groove, the same spirit as that certain man. So, and you can look up these operations and projects. These are military operations, all right, so on and so forth. And that's how they conquered this world, all right, by the sword. All right, Habakkuk 2 and 5. All right, these are just examples of the wicked. Okay, like I said, you can read some of them. Project Megiddo, dealing with the so-called, it says the FBI, matter of fact, go into it a little bit. In October 1999, the report named followers of white supremacy, Christian identity, American militia movement, BHI, Black Hebrew Israelites, and apocalyptic cults are potential terrorists who might become violent in reaction to new millennium. All right. And that was something that they practiced. That was a law, or they had it, written in order for them to conquer, in order for them to be on top, to oppress. All right, these are the people that oppress other nations, their heritage. All right, so on and so forth. Like I said, this is the white man's world. This is his world, his kingdom. And if you can't see that, you're blind, man. All right, Operation Paperclip. All right, the end of World War II in Europe, when the German scientists, all right, going into the advancement of nuclear arsenals, all right, artilleries, so on and so forth. All right, got that, Operation Paperclip. Like I said, you can do your own research. This was another one. And it was spiritual because it's like an app called Angel Studios. And it was like a cartoon little show, and it telling you and showing you about, the government, how they really became in power. They even talk about inflations, depression. Basically, it's a cartoon that talks about real life current events and things that happened in the past. And this is something that I just found out about, while watching that. That was probably about like a month ago, going on 2-3 weeks. Operation Northwood is proposed FF, all right, which the United States does practice that, all right, 9/11, September 11, 2001. And then the Patriot Act came into play, basically characterizing every American citizen as a terrorist. All right, the CIA, Operation Both, stage and commit act of terrorism against American military and civil targets. Blame them on Cuba government. So that's basically what sparked up a little bit of the Cold War. So these devils created a false narrative, which we been know now, but now this truth is being declared on a higher scale. This devil did these things in order to inherit, possessions of nations, kingdoms, peoples, and tongues, man. All right. And also, when I spoke about the flesh-eating STD, you got to realize a Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis in a Negro male, all right, study conduct between 1932 and 72. That's a whole goddamn, 40 years by the United States Public Health Centers of Disease Control Prevention of a group of nearly 400 African-American men with syphilis. All right, and syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease. So it's no coincidence that these diseases are out here ultimately to destroy, our people, destroy us, and destroy our lineage, man. Okay? This is all by the hands of the devil, Esau, Edom. Okay? And this was a disease that they created. So how much more with the AIDS virus, HIV, all right, herpes, all this stuff, man. These devils created these diseases to further destroy our people. All right. This is Psalms 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? All right. And that's what these devils do. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto you, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness, which they have prescribed, to turn Verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. And ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushua has this devil to do this upon our people, all right, for a punishment, for correction. But now we're entering into the time our captivity is up. This devil is being revealed, and we almost out of here. So I'm gonna close out praying that this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Close out by giving all praises, glory, and honor. Kahalayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us His truth. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect scattered around the four corners of the earth, mainly in Babylon the Great. Till next time, Shalom.